Good morning and welcome to my show, The Opine. This night after the exit poll, which has almost already created a storm in the both the camp. Everybody expected BJP to form the government. Everybody expected Modi to take the vote for the third time. But what is probably beyond expectation is the number of seats all the agencies have predicted, and it is now the average of all the prediction is 365, which is way beyond even 350. That's what in Assam, more or less, it is saying that 12 seats goes to NDA, two either to Congress or one to the AIUDF. In Assam, it has been always a two school of thought. One is a 12, always to NDA, and two to either Congress or AUDF. And other school is 9 or 10 to the BJP or NDA, and the 5 or 4 given to the opposition. To understand, to discuss, we are having Avinab Borbora, a research scholar from JNU and who has been is closely watching this entire thing very close from the ground, especially in the Upper Assam. So, welcome to my show. Avinab, can you
Hi, Mrinal.
see me?
Yes, I can see you, and it is great to be in your new initiative. And I hope I can do justice to your invitation.
Anyway, thank you because this is what beyond my television, what we would love to speak on any other subject and not only an election, anything. This is basically which gives me much more freedom to work and reach out to the people who are all over Assam and across the country. Now, see this chart. This chart shows that if you see voters, can you see the chart and
Yes, I can.
everywhere? What you and me have been discussing over the last past 1 month, and many of the people are not very happy with our discussions both on camera and off camera. That 12 we are talking about. It looks like what we have been talking are there, or we
Yes,
not
I
in the exit.
yes. Yes, I think it's very similar to the kind of projections that we have also been making either on television or even privately when we were having our discussions. See, the only
Yes.
confusion is whether the AIUDF would gain one seat or that seat would go to the Congress. Now, if you look at the way most of the exit polls are showing the India tally, of course, I think when it comes to the additional seat, I think the additional seat that they're talking about mainly is of the Dhubri seat. Because if you look at it in terms of data, Badruddin Ajmal has actually managed to win the seat last time by a humongous majority. And considering that he is the president of a very influential political party, for pollsters outside the region, the assumption is that at the end, I think in the last minute, Badruddin Ajmal would manage to escape through. But the issue is in the region in Dhubri, there is a very severe anti-incumbency for the AIUDF and for Ajmal. So, which is a reason that I personally still hold on to the view that maybe AIUDF is losing the seat. Now, when AIUDF loses the seat, we should also remember that this is not a seat that the AGP would gain, but this is a seat that is going to the BJP. So that is one seat that we can give to the Congress. Next, I think when we go to Karimganj, again, that is another seat where people have a lot of confusion. Now, Mrinal, we know that you personally feel that Karimganj might go to the BJP, which I also tend to think more or less. So, but again, this is one of the seats which maybe these exit polls are giving it to the Congress. So, if we look at it in at least the C voter or Access My India or Jan Ki Baat, it's like a range that they are giving. At least two of these exit polls are giving a range 2 to 4, 2 to 4, which
No,
means
it
that
has
even
been
they.
since much before the election has been announced. It is open secret that three seats where Congress can take a shot. That
Yes,
is the
yes,
Dhubri, that is the Nagaon, that is the Karimganj. There is no
yes.
brain to no anything, no rocket science to know that these three are where Congress has a reach and Congress can do it. All they need is to weaken AIUDA. So what you
Yes.
say that huge margin that Hubri's Azmol had enjoyed in 2019 was extrapolated into this year's counting, and that's why they are trying to show that so much of big difference cannot be eroded. But you are very true that Dhubri is definitely is not in AIDF range at this moment. It looks like in Congress. But what I'm more interested to know about you from you, since you have been personally handling those things in Upper Assam, one seat everybody's eye is
Hmm.
about Jorhat. But all these exit polls says nothing. Only the C voters and the Axis My India has got 2 to 4 rank. Are they talking about that shit or they are not even touching that at all?
Because if you look at like you said, most of the other seats, it's quite an open and shut case this time, of course. But the dark horse for many is still Jorhat, because on one hand, Gaurav Gogoi is a popular candidate, and he is someone that who has an all India image as well. So it is unlikely that most of the pollsters would would write him off. And so for me, I think when C Voter or Exist My India is giving four, the upper band, it is inclusive of Jorhat, because the other three we know, and the remaining seats in Upper Assam, for example, or in the North Bank, are quite easy to call for the BJP. So for most of these polling agencies, I think the additional seat that they're giving is Jorhat. Now let me come to Jorhat. Therefore, so is this prediction correct? I personally feel that Jorhat would not be going to the Congress this time, but the BJP would manage to retain this seat. Now, why is that? On one hand, it is true, I also acknowledge that Gaurav Gogoi is definitely a popular candidate. But the point that I saw in Jorhat is that popularity alone was not fetching him votes. Because on one hand, if you look at the Congress organization and compare it to the BJP organization in Jorhat, the BJP organization is much ahead. Secondly, look at the way the BJP has actually managed to get leaders from the Congress. In 2019, if you look at it, when the Congress lost the Jorhat seat, the BJP already won the seat by a margin of near about 1 lakh votes. Now, from since then, in the ensuing 5 years, what has happened is that most of the major leaders of the Congress, who are also local MLAs in some of the assembly segments in the Jorhat parliamentary seat, have actually crossed over and are now with the BJP. Along with that, the kind of welfare politics that we see happening all around the country, that that kind of a politics has its effects in the Jorhat constituency as well. We have in Assam, as we know, you have a policy like Orunodoi, which has a significant section of women beneficiaries, and these beneficiaries are still hopeful that if the government if they keep on aligning with the BJP, they would be getting higher and higher benefits in the days to come. And on top of it, the
I'll
state government
just
came up with.
continue. You are very right on this point, but because everywhere we have made since 19th of April, we have been meeting people, and there is an absolute resistance you can see amongst the male, but not with the female. And that probably a region across India, the female segment has been the one single major block for the BJP all over India and definitely Assam. Because if you keep meeting people of our age group of similar contemporaries, younger, right, there is a there's a visible kind of an discontent and kind of an resistance to the BJP's thing. But that is not reflected in the predictions as well as most probably in the election because resistance and results are two different things. Is that so that because of the women bloc, BJP has been so strong? Abhinav?
Certainly, I think there are a range of women schemes. If we are talking about Orunodoi in Assam, in Madhya Pradesh under Shivraj Singh, we had other kind of we had Lakpati Behna and such kind of schemes. So there is a concerted effort by the BJP to actually woo the women voters, because yes, over the last decade or so, we have been seeing that women are starting to vote autonomously from their male counterparts. So definitely that is a factor. And also in addition to this, I would like to add that it is not as if the males, like you have said, are completely opposed to the BJP. Yes, what I see is that there is a section of upwardly mobile, educated or highly educated men and women who constitute the critical sections for the BJP at this point of time. So I think if we have to look at the pockets from where the BJP continues to get opposition, the one of the largest segments has to be this group of, like I said, upwardly mobile educated men and women. Uh, Educated in foreign universities, or probably educated in top-notch Indian universities, in up like in leading universities in the northeast, and also in terms of their class position, like I have said, they're upwardly mobile and quite exposed to national media, to new upcoming news portals. These are this is the section that that has a strong resentment towards everything that the government is doing. And the unfortunate side for them is that it's a very minuscule, it's a minuscule minority. So in terms of electoral politics, in terms of making an electoral dent, they have very little stake. But in terms of setting a narrative, they have a lot of stake, because this is the section whose voice remains amplified, whose presence is actually felt in the civil society as well as in the popular media across the country.
And that's why probably you can see that this elite section, which is quite minuscule, as you say, that highly educated, they are all over the social media and all over the conventional media, and basically debunking the exit polls, and most likely they will also go for EVM kind of a theory. If this exit poll holds, then definitely the EVM conspiracy theories will once again surface. What do you think?
Yeah, exactly, and it is quite ridiculous because Mrinal, like, let me give your example only. I think around just after the third phase voting was over, I gave you a call. The kind of figures that you had actually discussed with me, more or less, the results are in order. It seems to be in order till now. So the idea is, do we have a ear to the ground, or we don't have our ears to the ground? So when you don't have your ears to the ground, then you tend to conjure up these kind of speculative theories. But if you go to the ground, you would see that it's not only EVM manipulation or such. It's not EVM manipulation, but there is a certain sentiment that is working in favor of the BJP. Now, what constitutes that sentiment? Is it an overwhelming goodwill for the BJP? I don't think such kind of a goodwill continues to persist. The kind of goodwill that we saw in 2014 or maybe in 2019, that kind of an enthusiasm does not exist. But the factor is, for most voters, I have seen that in comparison to the available alternatives, the BJP still seem to be a better choice, number one. And like I said, which also means that the Tina factor, that there is no other alternative, continues to work. Look at the way the Congress, for that matter, the principal opposition party, has been dilly-dallying throughout the elections. Even yesterday, the day before yesterday, I think they put out a statement that
They
none
took a
of their,
decision and they took a decision of boycotting the exit poll, and then at
that
4:30,
in the last moment, they actually revised the decision.
no, I mean, I'm just I'm coming to the end of the program, and just I want to
Yes.
ask one thing. Now, if we consider it good, the exit poll holds, and it's average. I'm only concerned about Assam, rest not, because being an Assam, and for this focus is entirely as Assam.
Ah,
12 is a number. And everybody
yes.
are now predicting. Now, if 12 happens on the by noon or by afternoon of June 4, the counting day, after that, how do you think that the politics of Assam, both Assam, politics of Assam, inside the BJP, as well as Mr. Himanta Biswa Sarma's position in Indian politics, considering the fact that he was the single most important chief minister or anybody outside Modi, the troika of Modi, Nadda, and Amit Shah, who had gone and done so much in the entire country. So I just want is three quick things. One, state politics. Two, inner BJP politics. And three, Himanta Biswa Sarma's future.
Let me start from inner BJP politics. If Dr. Harma's leadership manages to fetch BJP even an additional seat, so now they have nine. If they manage to reach 10 seats, that means that entire credit Himanta Biswa Sarma would try to seek the entire credit for it. And maybe perhaps rightly so, considering the kind of effort, the kind of running around that he has done throughout the election season this time. In terms of the politics within Assam, what we might see is that this entire alliance between, say, the new regional parties and the Congress and the left might actually collapse, considering that the AJP would start complaining immediately that the votes from the Congress did not shift, and vice versa. And also, there might be some kind of a demotivation for the cadre and party members, the party leadership of these new parties as well as the Congress, because remember this, that this would be the third time now, as far as third time that they would sit in the opposition. Now, coming to the wider politics of the Northeast, see, the BJP already won to 2019 with 9 seats, where they secured a lead of 1 lakh votes and above. So the BJP would remain a dominant player after these elections in the Northeast. Now, from the BJP's point of view, this is a very big development, considering that just a few decades earlier, this was a party that was considered to be a pariah in this region. Now, at the same time, if you look at it, in states like Nagaland, Mizoram, Meghalaya, the BJP still has not managed to make inroads. So their dependence on allies would continue. So the position of the NDA the position of the NDA in Northeast would remain crucial, and BJP would also continue to nurture their northeastern allies for some more time. They would not behave in a brutish manner as in North or in East India. But here, when it comes to say the NDPP or the ZPM, which might join, or in Tripura, if you look at the Tripura Motha, the BJP still needs these allies, and these elections would once again show
No,
that
no,
they're up
yeah.
to it. Maybe 12, and that is Assam and Tripura and Arunachal, which is providing them with the major trust. But for the other states, they would have to depend, like for the outer Manipur seat, they would require an ally like the NPF. For Tura, they would require, or even for Shillong, they would require allies. For Mizoram, they would require allies. Right? So the kind of BJP politics that we would see is a dominant resurgent BJP NDA, but with dependence on allies, I feel.
And for the third question, before you go, I just want to add a part B of the third question. First part was
Yes.
definitely about Hemant Biswa Sharma's future because he's not so strong. With 12, now it also coincides the thing that and that it is a political. It will also be the political. What do you call it? Is that irrelevance of the former Chief Minister Sarbananda Sonowal. Both the question answer should be together.
Yeah, I think Sarbananda Sonowal's role in Assam's state politics has been already declining since 2021, and perhaps it would decline a bit further this time. But again, like I say, politics is one domain where nothing is certain. We all remember that Narasimha Rao was about to retire, and then suddenly he makes a comeback as the country's prime minister. So I think. For Sonowal, he would take hope in such stories. For Dr. Sharma, he would take hope in the kind of election results if it turns out to be in this way, that it would lead to a further strengthening of his grip on on the BJP party organization in Northeast India.
Thank you, Avinab, and I hope that is exciting talk and all these exit poll things continue. And there are lots of hope that it's not correct also. Let us see on June 4, we will watch. If possible, by evening, we will definitely have to talk. And if not, it's definitely on June 5th. And a complete dissection of actual results. Thank you very much.
Yes,
And I'm winding up
yes,
here.
yes.
Thank you.
Looking forward to talking with you in the future. Thanks.